I had a visitor drop me off a document a number of days ago. Did a little bit of research on it. It's a little bit troubling, I would say, when you hear this. Some people believe it's a hoax, but I leave that up to the discretion of the listener or anybody who receives it. We may put it up on our site as a document that you can look at. But from what I've seen thus far on doing as best due diligence as I can on the subject matter, it appears to be more real in its substance than at first what I may have given it credit for. So anyways, I'm going to read this document. It's dealing with the current crazy coronavirus and this pandemic that seems to be mentally out there amongst people. So I'm going to read, this was a communique from someone who's a member of the Liberal Party in Canada. And I say appears to be, so I'm just going to leave it at that. This is again going to be up to your discretion to find out whether it was real or not. It says, I want to provide you some very important information. I'm a committee member within the Liberal Party of Canada. I sit within several committee groups, but the information I am providing is originating from the Strategic Planning Committee, which is steered by the Prime Minister's office. I need to start off by saying that I'm not happy doing this, but I have to. As a Canadian, and more importantly as a parent who wants a better future, not only for my children, but for other children as well. The other reason I am doing this is because roughly 30% of the committee members are not pleased with the direction this will take Canada, but our opinions have been ignored and they plan on moving forward toward their goals. They have also made it very clear that nothing will stop the planned outcomes. The roadmap and aim was set out by the Prime Minister's office and is as follows. Phase in secondary lockdown restrictions on a rolling basis, starting with major metropolitan areas first and expanding outward, expected by November 2020. Rush the acquisition of or construction of isolation facilities across every province and territory, expected by December 2020. Daily news cases of COVID-19 will surge beyond capacity of testing, including increases in COVID-related deaths following the same growth curves, expected by the end of November 2020. Complete and total secondary lockdown, much stricter than the first and second rolling phase restrictions, expected by end of December 2020, early January 2021. Reform and expansion of the unemployment program to be transitioned into the Universal Basic Income Program, expected by first quarter 2021. Projected COVID-19 mutation and or co-infection with secondary virus, referred to as COVID-21, leading to a third wave with much higher mortality rate and higher rate of infection, expected by February 2021. Daily new cases of COVID-21 hospitalizations and COVID-19 and COVID-21 related deaths will exceed medical care facilities capacity, expected first quarter, second quarter 2021. Enhanced lockdown restrictions, referred to as a third lockdown, will be implemented. Full travel restrictions will be imposed, including inter-province and intercity, expected second quarter 2021. Transitioning of individuals into the Universal Basic Income Program, expected mid-second quarter 2021. Projected supply chain breakdowns, inventory shortages, large economic instability, expected late quarter of the second of 2021. Deployment of military personnel into major metropolitan areas, as well as all major roadways to establish travel checkpoints. Restrict travel and movement, provide logistical support to the area, expected third quarter 2021. Along with that provided roadmap, the Strategic Planning Committee was asked to design an effective way of transitioning Canadians to meet an unprecedented economic endeavor, one that would change the face of Canada and forever alter the lives of Canadians. What we were told was, in order to offset what was essentially an economic collapse on an international scale, that the federal government was going to offer Canadians a total debt relief. This is how it works. The federal government will offer to eliminate all personal debts, mortgages, loans, credit cards, etc., which all funding will be provided to Canada by the IMF under what will become known as the World Debt Reset Program. In exchange for acceptance of this total debt forgiveness, the individual would forfeit ownership of any and all property and assets forever. The individual would also have to agree to partake in the COVID-19 and COVID-21 vaccination schedule, which would provide the individual with unrestricted travel and unrestricted living, even under a full lockdown, through the use of photo identification referred to as Canada's Health Pass. Committee members asked who would become the owner of the forfeited property and assets in that scenario, and what would happen to lenders or financial institutions. We were simply told the World Debt Reset Program will handle all the details. Several committee members also questioned what would happen to individuals if they refused to participate in the World Debt Reset Program or the Health Pass or the vaccination schedule, and the answer we got was very troubling. Essentially, we were told it was our duty to make sure we came up with a plan to ensure that that would never happen. We were told it was in the individual's best interest to participate. When several committee members pushed relentlessly to get an answer, we were told that those who refused would first live under the lockdown restrictions indefinitely, and that over a short period of time, as more Canadians transitioned into the debt forgiveness program, the ones who refused to participate would be deemed a public safety risk and would be relocated into isolation facilities. Once in those facilities, they would be given two options: participate in the debt forgiveness program and be released, or stay indefinitely in the isolation facility under the classification of a serious public health risk and have all their assets seized. So as you can imagine, after hearing all this, it turned into quite a heated discussion and escalated beyond anything I've ever witnessed before. In the end, it was implied by the Prime Minister's office that the whole agenda will move forward no matter who agrees with it or not. That it won't just be Canada, but in fact all nations will have similar roadmaps and agendas. That we need to take advantage of the situations before us to promote change on a grander scale, for the betterment of everyone. The members who were opposed and the ones who brought up key issues that would arise from such a thing were completely ignored. Our opinions and concerns were ignored. We were simply told to just do it. All I know is that I don't like it, and I think it's going to place Canadians into a dark future. Now, all I can say is, in the event I had to make a momentary judgment call of this being real, I still say this fits in line with the Bible. So I'm going to basically read you out of Revelation. We've read this before, but when we're talking about plagues and what was going to come, whether they're figurative or literal, it says as a warning in the Revelation to believers, and I heard another voice from heaven say, "Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins," which also means debts, "and that ye receive not of her plagues." So we know that the warning was put forth, the Revelation, the end, to the Genesis. In reality, we have the two, the beginning and the end, and it appears in the end, the Revelation from John stated quite directly that we were not even to be in her or be part of that synagogue of Satan or anything to do with that world governments of man. So we're not supposed to be partakers in it. And if we're not partakers, then we would not receive. So there is hope for believers. There is no hope for unbelievers.